Hello, dear friends. It's Kirsten Foss here, and today is our August numerology forecast. So, if you happen to be in my Soul of Spa business membership, you will have gotten this forecast a few weeks early so that you can prepare for your August. So, here we are, August 1st, and what kind of energy is coming down the pipeline? So, first, I want to just pause a little bit before we get into our August energy, which is a 7 energy month in numerology. And I want to debrief July energy, which was a 6 energy, all about balance, harmony, and karmic adjustments. So, I did see a lot of this kind of topic come up for a lot of people in their spa business. Kind of funny, almost like it literally happened on like the first day for some of them. And I had to laugh because one of my gals in Solo Spa business had said, "Man, I wish I had known this a little earlier because I got really hit with it. And it would have been nice to know kind of what was coming down the pipe." So, for those that are in the Soul Spa business membership, they're getting this earlier so they can kind of plan their month out and know what's coming ahead before it actually is right here. So that 6 energy of balance, harmony, and karmic adjustments was interesting. Um, June's energy of 5 energy, with which was change, was highly activating. The 6 of karmic balance and karmic adjustments was kind of this time to, whatever shifted and change in June. July was an opportunity to find balance within that change that happened. And so when we're dealing with balance and harmony, it's not all balance and harmony, especially if we have been in the habit of giving too much past our own personal boundaries, and it becomes resentful and problematic, right? So I'm sure that there were situations coming up for you in your spa business, whether it was like working with your team, working with your clients, like it was a lot about relationships, like the harmony and balance in relationships. And the big piece that was here to show us was where are we where are we actually in balance? And so whenever we're feeling resentful about anything, that's a really good flag in the play to let us know where we're out of balance. So, that showed up with your client care, it showed up with your team, it showed up with your work and personal relationships. It showed up in your financial harmony. It showed up in your personal kind of work-life balance. So, if you want to share with me what you experienced with that 6 energy, I would love to hear it. You can send me a DM on any of my social channels, or you can send me an email at kirstenfoss.com. All right, let's get into the August energy of 7, because now that we're wrapping up the 6 of balance, harmony, and karmic adjustments, moving into the 7 energy is all about deep faith and trust. The 7 energy can be quite activating for sure. Like, think about it. Anytime we as humans have to have faith or trust in anything, that's usually asking a lot. And there's some of us that have more faith and trust than others. And for those that really struggle with having faith or having trust in things, people, situations, it can feel very, very isolating and very, very, um, it can just feel like it's just super isolating, like stuck and isolated. So talking about these things, about when we feel stuck and isolated, is so helpful for us as entrepreneurs because we're going to get stuck. And sometimes we don't know why we're stuck. And using numerology is a way to help us kind of like figure out where the stuckness is happening, and we can work with the energies of the 7 to kind of shift us out of feeling kind of that kind of stuck and isolated feeling. So 7 energy, we're on the next phase of our manifestation cycle. Now that we had balance, we've kind of figured out a little bit of balance in parts of our lives from July. Now we're moving into this new part where it's asking us to have faith and trust in things. So how does this show up? It shows up often as mostly as what you see happening and what you know, it's like there's a difference. And it makes it really difficult for us to trust when what we're seeing isn't what we're feeling. There can either be a small discrepancy that just is like a little niggle, or there can be a really big discrepancy where, in situations where, in relationships, if we're talking with somebody and we just have this feeling that what they're saying isn't quite right, and they're saying all the right words and they're doing all the right things, but there's like I don't know. That's what I'm talking about in this situation, having faith and trust and kind of working with this energy. It's also a time, seven energy is a very spiritual energy. And it's a time of going inwards and searching inwards, reflection inwards. Um, I've had lots of experience with the seven energy. Um, and it can be very challenging to deal with, especially if you are not kind of wouldn't consider yourself a spiritual person, or maybe you consider yourself a spiritual person but you don't really have a lot of spiritual practices, or they're not consistent. um, and you've really just kind of been living in the 3D world, very much so. And when we come up against things in our life, personal life, and our business that can be very jarring, it can be traumatic, can be upsetting. And when we don't feel like we kind of know what the next step is, we're really locked, we can easily get locked into fear. And it's because we're lacking faith and trust. And you might have had this experience as well. I know I have. I've been to at a place in my life where I was feeling so low, that I felt like the only thing I had was to turn inwards and start exploring more of myself, my inner self, my spiritual self. I started exploring my spiritual world, making more connections with my spirit guides more often, making sure that I've got daily spiritual practices that I'm doing. Um, and so having that ability to turn inwards when we feel like what we have in the outside world isn't working for us, but we don't yet have the ability to move through it or move forward, we still always have our inner spiritual world to move into for support and nurturing. And at first it feels really like you can feel really angry, like I don't want to have to do that. I just want the outside 3D world just to get their act together so I can feel better. But we can't control other people. We can't control a lot of situations. And sometimes all we really have is our inner spiritual world to go into and depend on. But here's the thing with that, and once you develop it, it makes your 3D world so much richer. And you have this place to go that you deeply trust, even when you can't trust the 3D world at any, kind of whatever point in time that you're feeling like this. The seven energy being a very spiritual energy, it's actually in numerology, it's considered the most spiritual number. And everybody that I know that is a ruling number seven, when I tell them this, they're like, ugh. And it's because, along with being very intuitive, the seven is also extremely intellectual. So it's got this real, like, two sides of like two very different sides of a coin. And so it can feel very confusing for those of you that are ruling number sevens or have a leadership code as a seven. So, trying to figure out, like, this actually might be connecting some dots for you. Like understanding, like, yes, you have a strong intellect as a seven. And in the seven energy of the month of August, there will be there will be an energy for all of us to use our intellect and our intuition at the same time. So this helps to kind of roll with the flow of life and really trust in the flow of life. That's probably the hardest part of the seven energy, is when we're not trusting in the flow of life. And what I mean by that is, you know, when something goes sideways and it just sucks and you can't see a way out right away, you can't problem solve it right away. And some things are just like that. We have to kind of sit on them for a little bit of time. Um, when we are able to understand that bigger picture, the bigger spiritual picture of us, our life path, our soul contracts with other people, our soul purpose, then it makes it a little bit easier to see like the garbage and chaos that's happening in the 3D world, and to kind of realize this is all temporary, it'll shift and move. I can see the bigger picture of this energetically, and I know I just have to give myself some patience and time in order to kind of work my way out of this. And also, not only just patience and time, you need patience and time to, work with yourself, process what you're feeling and thinking, process what's being activated in you. And you can use your divine spirit family, your guides, ask them for support and help in your business. They will not interfere with human life unless we are giving permission. So I think a lot of times we forget to ask them. I know a lot of you guys believe in your own spirit guides or your angels or whatever you want to call them, your ancestors, and yet we're not using them as much as we can, and they want to co-create with us. So this 7 energy month would be a really great time to tap into and connect with your divine spirit family, your spirit guides, your ancestors. Maybe you feel like you have energies that are maybe even galactic around you and that want to support you. Ask them for help and they will be able to help you. All right, let's talk about the high and the low vibration of the 7 energy. And also keep in mind, if you are a ruling number 7, if you don't know your ruling number, head to my website, kirstenfoss.com, and right on the homepage, right at the top, there is an email opt-in, and it's about figuring out how to figure out your ruling number. So put your name and email in there, and you'll get a responder, and it will give you the equation of how to figure out your ruling number, and it will also have all the reports for you. Like, you'll pick your ruling number, click on it, download it, and you can read all about kind of what we're going to be talking about here, kind of the highs and lows of your particular energy. And I know that you're going to be able to identify a lot of that with how you show up in the world. Anyways, let's get back to the 7 energy. So for those of you that are a ruling number 7, this is going to be a little intense month. It's a reflection and kind of a pulse check for where you are in your life path as a 7. All right. So the high vibration of 7, having deep faith and trust. I've met many 7s, and they're really interesting. I've met 7s who are are super laid back, and they just have this kind of knowing of like, it's all going to work out, they'll be fine. And I've also met 7s who have zero trust and zero faith, and they actually tend to kind of operate in their low vibration when that happens. So hoping if you have a ruling number 7, that you are one of those people that, oh yeah, it'll work out. But if you're not, this will really help you to understand yourself a lot better and how you can shift yourself out of that low vibration. Another high vibration is spirituality. 7s are truth seekers, and not just in spirituality. They are truth seekers for all of it. They absolutely cannot stand anything or anybody that is untruthful. It is like you're done with them. And so, keep that in mind this month about truth. I'm really curious to see if what's going to come up for you are situations where people are not being honest. In fact, I will probably pretty much guarantee that we are going to be coming across those situations, because the energy is wanting us to explore that. So when we come up against people that aren't being completely honest, and sometimes people are dishonest not because they really mean to be, but because they don't know how to express themselves, and sometimes they don't feel safe expressing their emotions. So, if I am with somebody that I kind of have the sense that they're not being completely honest with me, I don't initially just dive into like, this is an untrustworthy person. A lot of times it's subconscious for them. And they have their own baggage around being truthful. But this month, we're going to see stuff coming up about truth. Really, I'm really also curious to see, like, in our world events, what's happening. The US elections are coming up in the fall, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm really curious to see on the global scale how truth comes into play for August. More high vibration of the seven is having a highly attuned intuition, whether you use it or not, or whether you realize it or not. Solitude is a high vibration. Inner growth, risk and reward. So with that seven energy, um, because it's about faith and trust, it's also about risk. So if we're in our high vibration with risk, we are looking at the risk versus reward and not just automatically, assuming something's risky or assuming it's not risky and jumping into it as well, right? Trust in the unknown and trust in self. Intellectual refinement. So like I said before, the seven energy as a ruling number, very intellectual, very smart. And so there's an opportunity for this intellectual refinement this month as well. Pushing boundaries. And, pushing boundaries will be on the low vibration as well. But pushing boundaries on the high vibration is up those pushing healthy boundaries, like trusting the process. I'm going to push a little because I have a sense about where I'm going, and I have a sense that it's the right way, and I'm just going to push this little growth edge a little bit. It could also be, like I'm talking about the world events, pushing boundaries can be, good guys pushing the bad guys, looking at things like big pharma and whistleblowing within government. So that is a high vibration of pushing boundaries. It's like, no more, like this is the status quo, but we're going to push past this because we believe in something higher than this. And the seven energy is an action energy. So like all of the odd numbers are more action oriented. So like one is like movement, like get started. Three is like this activated creativity. Five, change. It's a very physical number. And so is seven. So, this is a great month too to pay attention to your physical health and fitness. Maybe you've fallen off the wagon a little bit and you've been meaning to get back on it. This would be a month to do that. But as far as action, it's also a month of taking action. All right, let's go into slip into those low vibrations. So low of the seven would definitely be not trusting emotionally, not trusting physically, not trusting mentally, not trusting spiritually. And when you're in a seven energy and not trusting, oh gosh, that's a hard and very painful place to be because it triggers a whole boatload of other really big emotions, right? Being stuck in indecision is a low vibration, or being stuck in your head. Sevens often really get stuck in their head, and it's like this negative feedback loop that they just have a really, really hard time getting out of. So for those of you that aren't a ruling number seven, you may find yourself experiencing that like negative loop and overthinking this month. The low vibration of seven also can feel like just having this crushing weight of the unknown. And when you're not having faith or trust in things, of course, it feels like this big crushing energy of stuckness that you don't know how to get out of. So I don't know if you can see, but this whole faith and trust, with the lack of it, it just brings up a whole bunch of other stuff. Relying on other people's opinions is another low vibration of seven because they're not trusting themselves. Feeling lonely and isolated, it's really, really hard. Very, very painful for the seven energy when you're not feeling faith and trust. Like think about it, when you're not trusting somebody or a group of people, so lonely feeling and really very, very, very heartbreaking. Risky behavior. Yeah, so low vibration of seven. So if you have any kids that are a seven, and they are into risky behavior, this is part of their code, unfortunately for you and for them. But they're really testing their edges about that risk and reward. And when they're immature and they don't have their prefrontal cortexes figured out yet, it can be very, very risky behavior. Now, in our business as entrepreneurs, that looks risky behavior looks like, buying stuff that you don't really know if you can afford it or if it's actually the right thing for your clientele. Like it's more of an impulsive decision, and seven energy can be kind of impulsive. Um, Other risky behavior would be like not looking at your finances. It could be like hiring. Just like, oh, I'll hire. I need somebody, I think, and I'll hire, and get yourself into a pickle that way if you can't afford it. Being blunt is another seven low vibe, and being superficial. So the seven energy, because of that deep faith and trust, it does not really like the superficial stuff, and so it doesn't like superficial relationships. That's very, very hard for seven, ruling number sevens. And in the seven energy month, you might find yourself like, I just can't do small talk, BS, that kind of thing. And just to know that that's part of that low vibration energy, that you kind of want to go all in. And then lastly, the thing that low vibration that comes up with the seven is blame. And so when things are not going right, according to the seven, and if you're not trusting the process or being able to see the big picture, super easy to get very blamey. And that really doesn't help things at all. Okay, so how is the seven energy going to be showing up in the spa and wellness industry? Well, it's likely going to be showing up as feeling stuck because you just can't see the way forward. And it might feel more than just feeling stuck. It might be that like crushing stuckness feeling. You might not be trusting your decisions. That might be coming up for you this month. Making risky financial or business decisions. And you may not think they're risky, but if you want to make sure that any financial decisions that you make this month, that you are pairing intellect. So you're looking at the data, you're looking at your finances, your cash flow, you're looking at your KPIs and your spa, so that when you are making a intuitive decision, you have as much data as possible to support your intuitiveness. Another way that it might be showing up in the spa industry is trying to do it all on your own. So if you are a solo spa owner and you have been for at least a year, you know that it is, and you're in the treatment room as well, it's near impossible to do this work on your own. You need somebody, whether it is a VA to support your admin stuff. You definitely need a bookkeeper. Maybe you need an assistant. Maybe you are ready to hire staff. Maybe you need a coach or a consultant if you're not ready to hire staff. But trust me when I say that business gets complicated as you grow, and so it should. And you shouldn't have to do this on your own. It's actually an impossibility unless you keep your business really small. So do yourself a favor and give yourself permission to ask for collaboration, ask for support and help in your business. It's not like you're not smart, and it's not like you don't know what you're doing. It's just you're into new territory and you don't have that information. That's all. Another way that the seven might be showing up for you in August is constantly trying new marketing tactics and not really sticking to anything to give it consistency. Being reactive or blunt to staff, clients, friends, family. That'd be a low vibration of the seven. And I would also in August kind of watch yourself for avoiding exploring the depths of your business. And what I mean by that was a little bit what I was talking about before about pairing up intellect with intuition. And the low vibration of the seven is going to want to kind of put your head in the sand a little bit about it and not have to deal with it. But that's also has to be the way forward. So if you are feeling like you're wanting to avoid doing these, responsible things in your business, that's just a little flag in the play that you're operating in the low vibration of the seven. It's time to shift it out. The other piece that comes up is I do see this is spa owners complaining and blaming other aspects when they actually haven't done the work themselves. Like they're kind of been sloppy, not responsible with their own admin, and then complaining that business is not great, and then but not really wanting to do anything about it. That's also a seven. That's being like stuck in that energy. So with the seven energy in your spa business or your wellness in business, all of this is really just to show you what energies are going to be dominant in the month of August, and allows you to be like super aware of how you're showing up in your business. And actually, if you have a team, how your team's showing up. Because these universal energies, so like the energy of the month, the energy of the year, the energy of the day, everybody on the planet is feeling them. So, understanding the numerology behind the energy gives us a lot of information as spa owners. And actually, it gives us a lot of information about our personal life. It gives us information about our kids. Um, if you haven't done a ruling number for your kids yet, go ahead and do that. And you can, that report that I send you, you'll be able to download all of them from 1 to 11, or sorry, from 2 to 11. But numerology really helped me understand my family a lot better, especially my kids. Helped me understand my relationship with my husband. One of the funniest pieces about that was when I did my husband's chart, I realized that he had like 4 1s in his birth date and his birth chart. And once I started understanding like the implication of like repeating numbers and like multiple numbers in a birth chart, it just adds amplification to it. And so having 4 1s means that you're like a really good starter and you have tons of ideas and you're a great leader. And yet he doesn't have any 2s or 3s in his chart, which would help him to finish things. And so when I saw that in his chart, I literally laughed out loud because I was always after him, like projects are not finished and it's kind of a grind to get them done. But it's just part of how he's coded. So now we have a bit of more of a process to make sure those projects get done because he just naturally doesn't, he just loses interest. Meh, that's just part of who he is. So understanding ruling numbers of our family, friends, even of our team, ourselves, and especially the energetics of the month and the day and the year gives us like a huge, like opens up the blinds to life to see this, to see meaning where we couldn't see it before. It's literally like hidden information. So where do we go from here? I've got some compassionate action steps for you for August. And that is be the truth seeker in your business. 7 is the balance of intuition and intellect. So some compassionate action steps for you is track your KPIs and be aware of your intuitive business hits. Another compassionate action step is, are you feeling purposeful in your business still? It might have been a couple of years now. Some of us have been in it for 10, 20 years. Do a pulse check this month. Like, are you still feeling happy and purposeful? And if you're not, that's okay. It's time to like dig in and see, like kind of dig into that faith and trust of like your intuition, like what is your purpose, like how are you feeling more purposeful? What direction do you want to go in? There might be a little shift in your business that's needed to spark your purpose. Maybe there's some clients to let go, team members to let go, services to let go as well. You don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And if you're feeling activated, this month is really important to remain calm and to clear your mind because again, it's that intellect and intuition, but sometimes the intellect can get going and the conscious mind can get going and get stuck in the loop. And finally, I would definitely prioritize getting physical and prioritizing self-care, specifically getting out into nature, meditation. The thing with 7 energy is that because it's a physical energy, sometimes stress and anxiety will manifest itself in the physical body. So if you are feeling unwell or just like really tired or however your physical manifestations are, August is a really important month for you to pay attention to your self-care, your physical body. All right, I have one more thing I want to share with you. Now, in my Solo Spa Business membership, I give them the full, all of the Power Portal days in the month. But I will be giving you guys in my podcast a little heads up about the Lionsgate portal that happens every August on the 8th of August. So this is a blend of numerology, astrology, and ancient cosmology. So it's called the Lionsgate portal, and it happens on August, 8th month, the 8th day. And with numerology, it's not an 8 energy day, but that's okay. We're still working with the numbers of the month and the date number, but we're also in an 8 energy year as well. So really big Lionsgate portal this particular year. Now, with the Lionsgate portal, it's a solar energy. It kind of dovetails with the solar energy of Sirius and the sun. So in ancient cosmology, the ancient Egyptians knew, like, when they could see Sirius in the night sky in August. And it was also kind of the height of the sun. And so they often did rituals that was around this Lionsgate portal. So we bring that information forward with us in more modern times so that we too can use their understanding of the sun, the power of the sun. The sun is a massive, massive manifester. And so that's what we're going to be using. We're going to be using those energies on the Lionsgate portal on the 8th of August. Okay, so the rest of the Power Portal days, and there are a lot of Power Portal days in August this year, I'm sharing in my Solo Spa Business group with them. So if you would like to join the Solo Spa Business, you are very, very welcome to come in. We will be having our Soul Circle. We have a monthly Soul Circle, and this month it's on Tuesday, August 6th at 9 a.m. and we all meet on Zoom from all over North America. And I will be diving more deeply into the 7 energy, as well as blending it with spa and wellness business strategy. So if you'd like to join us, it's only $66 a month. And you also get a ton of resources in there as well. You get a discount on coaching from me. And we also have a co-working session every month, mid-month. So it's like a kind of get it done day, because I know a lot of you spa and wellness entrepreneurs struggle with implementation. So that's what that's for. And I'm there for any one-on-one coaching that if you got questions, we do a little side chat Zoom meeting and I help you in there. There's lots of other information. I'm going to share the link to that, the membership page, so you can check it out, all the details in there. All right, so if you have any questions about the August energy of 7, I'd be delighted to help you. If you want to know more about your ruling number, I would love to pass the little opt-in the little quiz there that you have access to. If you want to dive deep into knowing more about your ruling number and your gifts and your challenges and the seasons of your life and kind of all the other layers of influences that numerology has, I would highly recommend a numerology blueprint reading. It gives you an incredible amount of information about how you lead, why you lead, and we strategize for you to, kind of any of those sticky places in order for you to feel like you can show up in a better way. And if you also have a team, we can do a team numerology assessment where I take the birthdays of everybody in the team and I meet with the spa owner and it's like I said, pulling back the curtain to see these hidden energies that our team is coming to work with every day. I can tell who the problem children are. I can tell who the stars are. I can tell who, kind of what challenges each of your team members struggles with, emotionally, energetically. So it's really cool to get that perspective of your team to understand a deeper layer and deeper levels of why and how they're showing up for work. Anyways, there's a lot of numerology services on my website. You can go to kirstenfoss.com, click on the numerology tab, and you can see them all there. And that's it for today's forecast. I will be back here on the Spa Business Mastery podcast in about 10 days for your spa business podcast, the next one. We'll see you then.